Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making a sweater. So you will need milk cotton yarn, a 3mm hook and a 3.5mm hook. And you're going to start by making a chain that goes from your waist to your shoulder, and you'll be using this 3.5. You'll make a chain of 70 stitches. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So I am done with my chain of 70 stitches. I'm going to chain one more, and then I'm going to make my first stitch like that. I'm going to show you one more time how this stitch is made. I call it the knit stitch. I'll find the actual name for the stitch. So go through that and then go through this loop and pull your yarn together. Go through that, go through the loop and pull your yarn together. It almost looks like a back loop. It almost looks like a half double crochet, but it's not that. So you're going to keep doing this for the next 55 stitches, and you're still using the 3.5mm hook. We are at our last stitch, our 55th stitch, and then we are going to change our hook, and we are going to be making the ribbing for the sweater top. So you're going for the ribbing, things are going to be a bit different. You're going to be, let me get this right, you're going to be making slip stitches for the next 15 stitches, and those 15 stitches will count for the ribbing. So for the next 15 stitches you're going to make slip stitches. So we are done with our 15 slip stitches, and we are moving on to our second round. What we are going to do, we are still using the 3mm hook. You're going to chain one, and you're going to be making slip stitches on the back loops only of the slip stitches that you made. So make slip stitches in the back loops only for the next 15 stitches to make them a bit looser, so that when you're going through them you don't have a hard time like I am. So just make slip stitches until you are at this point where I did put this red yarn as a stitch marker. So once I reach the point where I put my stitch marker, that means I'm done with my 15 slip stitches. I'm going to move on to the next part of the sweater. So I'm just going to go through, on this second row, I'm going to go through the back loops of the stitch that I've shown you. The same way, go through the back loops like that, back loop. So you yarn over, insert your hook, pull through the yarn, pull through all three, yarn over, insert your hook, pull through yarn, pull all of them, yarn over, insert your hook, pull through and pull all of them, yarn over, insert your hook in the back loop, pull through all of them. You're going to keep doing that till you are at the end of your second row, and at this point we've already changed our hook. We are using the 3.5mm hook, and we are going through the back loops only. Okay, so we are at the end of our second row. This is what you should be working with. So you're going to chain one for our third row, and you are going to go through the back loops and make the stitch the same way you've been doing for the second row. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook in the back loop, pull through your yarn over, insert your hook in the back loop, pull through your yarn, and we are still using the 3.5mm hook. Don't forget that. You're going to keep doing this until you reach the point where you put your stitch marker. So we are going to change our hook and use this 3mm hook, and by this row you can see that you can be able to differentiate the stitches. So you're going to go through your stitch and make a back loop slip stitch. So for the cuff area, we are just going to be making back loop slip stitches for 15 stitches. So you are going to repeat row 3 for the next 100 rows. Once you've made 100 rows, this is what your first panel should look like. So how you count the rows, you just count this top part that look like knitting. You count those and then you multiply by 2. So mine are 50. So I take 50, I multiply by 2, that is 100 rows. But you can also count the top and the bottom if you don't want to do all that mathematics, okay? So for the front panel, we are going to do something a bit different. You're going to make a total number of 36 rows. Once you make a total number of 36 rows, you're going to start making the neckline area. So these are my 36 rows. Now I want us to make the neckline area. You're going to be reducing. So you're going to chain 1 and you skip this stitch. And on this other stitch, you're going to start working on that. So for the next 6 rows, we are going to be reducing the neckline for the next 6 rows. So on this 37th row, we've skipped 1 stitch and we've started working on the other stitch. So you're just gonna keep going until you're done. Then you go on as usual. Then I'll meet you guys back here, okay? So we are back. This is our 38th row. So on this row, we are going to be reducing. So I did put a stitch marker on our 37th stitch, the first stitch that we did the reducing. So I'm gonna make my last stitch, and then this first stitch we are going to skip it, so I'm not going to do anything on it. So this is our 38th row. You're going to chain 1, turn your work, and you're going to move on to your 39th row. You're going to skip this first stitch, and then you're going to go into the second stitch. Remember, we are reducing, so you go into the second stitch. Once you do that, I'm going to put a stitch marker so that I don't miss this stitch when I'm coming back, okay? So we are going to be reducing for the next 6 rows, okay? I'm going to be reducing from row 37 up to row 42. Then, and the reason why we are reducing so that we can make our neckline area. I am done with my 6 reducing row. So this is our 42nd stitch. So for our next 16 rows, we are not going to be doing anything. We are not increasing or decreasing. So from row 43 up to row 58, we are just gonna keep making back loop. We are just gonna keep making back loop stitches like usual. No decreases and no increases. I will meet you guys at row 58. So at this point, we are done with our one side. We've already reduced. This is our neckline. We've made a total number of 16 rows without increase or decrease. So you should have a total number of 58 rows. Once you have a total number of 58 rows, we are going to proceed on making the other side. So for the next 6 rows, that is from row 59 up to row 64, we are going to do our increase. Going to chain 1. This is our 59th row, and I'm going to show you how to make increases. You're going to go through your first stitch, make your stitch, and on the same stitch you're going to make another stitch, and that is how you are going to be making increases. You're just going to be increasing in the first stitch only. Make 2 stitches instead of 1 stitch, and you're going to be increasing until you are at row 64. So this is how your increase is supposed to look like. So at this point we are back where we started. This is our 60th row. So you're going to make the stitch like that, and on this last stitch you're going to make 2 stitches in it. And remember, we are increasing, so you're going to make 1 more stitch there. So basically you're just going to repeat row 59 up to row 64. So we've already made our 6 increase row. This is our 64th row. So this is basically how it should look like, and that is how you're going to make your front panel. So for the next 36 rows, you're not going to be doing any increase or decrease. You're just going to keep going until you reach your 100th row. You should have something similar to this side once you're done with your 100th row. I'm going to show you how to make the sleeve. You're going to start by making a slip stitch, and you're going to be using this 3.5 millimeter hook. You're going to start by chaining a total number of 80 stitches. So once you've chained 80, you're going to skip the first stitch, and on this stitch you're going to make your first stitch like that. Go in, go through that stitch. I call the stitch the knit stitch. If you have a specific name on the of the stitch, please let us know in the comment down below. Anyway, you're going to just do that until you have a total number of 20 stitches left here at the bottom. Then I'll show you what to do when you get there. We are here. I already have my 20 stitches that I told you to leave. So I'm going to change my hook, and I'm going to use this 3 millimeter hook. And on this part of the sleeve, for the whole of the sleeve area, you're just going to be making single crochets. Just normal single crochet, nothing fancy, for a total number of 20 stitches. At the end of my row, I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to turn my hook, and on this first stitch I'm just going to make single crochets on the back loop only. So for the first 20 stitches, you're going to be making single crochets on the back loop only. And basically this is what you're going to be repeating for the cuff area of the sleeve for the next 20 stitches. So once you've made your 20 stitches of back loop single crochets, you're going to be repeating the same stitch I showed you. I call it the knee stitch, and you're going to be repeating this for the next remaining stitches. You're going to keep doing this and you are going to be repeating row 2 until you have a total number of 62 rows for the sleeves. That's what your sleeve should look like, and you should have 2 matching sleeves. So I ended up joining the shoulder part. How you join the shoulder part is by, after you've started doing your decrease, where you started joining your decrease and your increase is where you stop joining. So you're going to join using a single crochet. That's what I did. Also, I already joined my arm. Also, I ended up doing a total of 62 rows for the arms. Once you do 62 rows, you're going to split that into 2. It's going to be 31, 31. Then you put your stitch markers so that everything can align, as I did here. I ended up putting 2 stitch marker. This is my 31st stitch from this other side, and this one is my 31st stitch. So you just put your stitch markers and you join. You are going to join using single crochet. Also, for the armhole, you're going to leave a total of 31 on both sides. So from here to where I've put my stitch marker, it's going to be 31. The other side, from there up to there, from the shoulder up to the armpit area, is going to be 31. And then you're just going to join the rest of the remaining part with single crochet. I hope that is clear. We are going to join the bottom part of the sleeve. So from where I put my stitch mark, I'm going to insert my hook, and I'm going to insert it on the other side where I put my other stitch marker. I'm going to take my yarn, and I'm going to make my first single crochet. So insert your hook, pull through, and you're going to make a single crochet. So from there on, you're just going to be making single crochet till you get to the end of your row. Just make single crochets. You insert and ensure the stitches are matching on the other side so that your work can be stable. You go inside, you insert your hook, insert your hook, insert your hook onto the other side. And at this point, you are also going to be making single crochets, okay? So we've already put our stitch markers on the sleeves. You count from this point to this point, you put your stitch marker on the 31st stitch, and you count from the other side to the other side, you put your stitch marker on the 31st stitch. After you've done that, you're going to take your sleeves, and from the point where you did put your stitch markers, you're going to remove them, and you're going to start joining from the armpit area, okay? So you're going to go through that, pull through your yarn, and then you're going to start joining. So remember, you are joining 31 stitches on both sides. So this side 31 and this other side of the sleeve 31. So you're going to go through your stitches. First you start by that one, go through that twice so that you don't miss anything. Go again, and you're going to start joining to your first stitch. Let me zoom in. So once you're done, this is your second stitch. How you count your stitches, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hope that is clear. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. Okay, so we are going to our second stitch, and on this side you're going to insert your hook on the second stitch, so you make a single crochet. This is our third stitch. On this side you're going to insert your hook on your third stitch, make a single crochet. Our fourth stitch, insert your hook, go on the fourth stitch. So you're going to keep doing that until all the stitches are matching on both sides, and you should end your work where you started. You should end your work at the armpit area here, so that all the seams can be aligned. Okay, and if you want to know if your stitches are matching, you see the way we are joining. Once you reach this stitch where you put your stitch marker, it should be joined at this point here, and then you should start your next row at this point here, so that it can end on this point. Okay, that way you will know if your stitches are aligned. When you reach the corner, let's say the shoulder area, try to go through the same place twice, and also the armpit area, so that everything else can be neat and snug as possible. Okay, at the end of our sleeve, I've finished joining the arm area. So what I'm going to do for this other part, I'm just going to join the sleeves together like that, and I'm going to join using single crochet. So go through that, and on this other side I'm going to go through the back stitch only. Okay, I hope that's clear. You go on this side, you go through all your stitches, but on this matching side you go through your back stitches, so that your sweater can have a ribbing that almost look like it was made without stopping, if that makes sense. You go through like that. Let me zoom in. So you go through all of this, but when you get on this other side where there's like ridges, you go through the back one. Go through that. When you get on this side, go through the back one. When you reach the slip stitches, you're going to just be going through the both of them, okay, using single crochet when you reach here. I'm done with the joining. I already cut off my yarn. This is the wrong side. I'm going to turn my work. So this is our neckline, how everything looks like. These are the sleeves. I honestly love how they turned out. We are done with the sweater. For the neckline, I ended up doing 62 rows of back loop single crochets. Then I joined to the neck. How you achieve that, you just count the number of rows you have around the neckline. I have a total number of 62. So then I ended up making 62 rows of back loop single crochets for the neckline, and that is how you achieve that for the neckline. So this is what our work looks like. I'm going to sew in these two ends. I already did sew in the other part for the most part. Yeah, so this is what you should have if you're making something similar to this. This should probably fit a size small and medium, yeah, depending on the fit you're going for. Normally I like things that fit a little bit baggy, so a small will do and a medium. Okay, if you want it to be bigger, you just add a couple of more rows, and then everything else is going to be fine. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and for the new subscriber, I really appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, bye bye.